Hello everybody, my name is William. I hope you all are doing well. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and we are going to be doing another FSEconomy flight here in the Cessna 208 in British Columbia. Picking up at Anaheim Lake, we're going to be flying to Sunea Lake. It's just about 70 nautical miles off to the southeast. Should be a pretty cool flight going into a little grass strip. Fun flying in the 208 as always, so I hope you all do enjoy. If you do, make sure to give the video a like. It does help me out a ton. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing to see more content as always. So yep, let's go ahead and jump into it. Welcome on board the 208, everybody. We're on the ramp here at Anaheim Lake for our flight to Sunea Lake. It's showing just under 70 nautical miles for us on our trip today. We're going to go ahead and get this thing underway. We got a back taxi for our departure. We're going to be going off of runway tree 1, and we're basically on the ramp here on the end of one tree. So we've got our client up. We're going to go ahead and start the flight. Load up all of our passengers going on to Sunea Lake. Go ahead and hide the client now, and let's get this thing ready to taxi. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and get our takeoff flaps out. That way I can't forget. We're going to go taxi lights on. Since we're going to be taking the runway here, we'll go ahead and go nav light, strobe light on, as well as put our transponder into altitude mode. So let's get our taxi underway. Parking brake is off. And we're going to work our way on out over here. Need to set a couple things up on our instruments. We're going to change the CDI over to GPS. And we'll pause for a moment while we come up to the hold short. Just make sure everything looks like it is clear. See, we're on the end of 1-3. Looks like we're clear off to the left and right. Alright, let's go ahead and get our landing lights on. We'll take the runway and start our back taxi. I'm going to set an altitude in the altitude selector for 5,500 feet. We do have some clouds kind of in the area. I don't want to get up into them, so we're going to go with 5,500. If we can go up to 7,500, we will. But I don't need to go any higher than that for our flight today. So since we've got that in, we're going to go ahead and arm the vertical speed mode. We're going to set it to 800 feet a minute. Be a little bit less aggressive with it to start with. So 800 feet a minute for our initial climb out, and we'll arm in a heading mode on a heading of tree 10, which I'll just sync. I'll sync the heading up once we do our turnaround here at the end. In the Caravan, we're going to be looking to rotate out at about 75 knots and climb up and get our flaps in. Once we're up about 80 knots, accelerating with a positive rate, and then we're going to climb up to 5,500 at about 95 knots, and we'll engage the flight level change mode to finish that one off. We're coming to the end of the runway here. And I think actually we're going to go ahead and rotate at 70 knots today. Should be able to do that. It's a little bit of a tight turnaround down here, so we're going to go ahead and angle all the way to the left. Use up all this room. Get it nice and slow, and cut back. Get on the power so I can really use that right toe brake, kind of drag the plane, make our turning circle just a little bit tighter. And we'll get ourselves lined up on tree 1. Okay, we are lined up, so let's go ahead and sync the heading mode, and we'll put it just dead on tree 10. Looks like we are good to go for our takeoff. Just final check, make sure we got our flaps down. Everything else looks like it is good. So let's go ahead and hold the brakes. Bring the power up a little bit. And we'll release the brakes, get our roll going. Power is set. Airspeed's alive. A little bit of a crosswind from the right. There's 55 knots, looking for 70. There's 70 knots, we'll rotate. Alright, we are up. Let's climb up above, make sure we're clear of all these trees. A little bit of right rudder. And we'll nose down just a little bit. We can continue climbing, start accelerating. We are through 80 knots, accelerating with a positive rate. We'll get flaps in, and we're gonna follow the flight director there and pitch for about 10 degrees nose up to fight the sink we get whenever we pull those flaps in. And now then we're about up to 95 knots. We're going to activate the flight level change mode, and actually we're going to make a right turn to start heading on course. We're going to activate a nav mode. So about 30-degree bank. Just continuing to try and hold around 95 knots as we turn around and start heading on course for Sunia Lake. And we'll start leveling the plane out a little bit. Hey, you can see all these clouds up in front of us. I don't want to get up into them. It looks like they're a little bit lower off in front of us, so we'll stick it out here at about 5,500. Be nice and low for us to kind of enjoy the scenery as we fly through. We're level here at about 5,500. Go ahead and pull that power on back. And capturing the course, so we're going to go ahead and hit the autopilot, and it is going to take over and take us direct to Sunia Lake, showing just 68 nautical miles, and it's should be less than 25 minutes for us for our trip. Expecting a decent size but a grass strip at Sunia Lake. Kind of back off into the mountains here. Go ahead and get our recog lights off and our taxi lights off, since we're just or our landing lights, sorry. We're flying off into the wilderness a bit. Looking at those mountains off to our right side. With the cloud cover today, I think we're better off not flying into that. It does look like it's plenty clear enough, though. If we want, I'm going to go back on what I said. We're going to go up to 7,500. So I'll go ahead and activate a vertical speed mode. I'm going to set it for 1,200 feet a minute. We'll just zoom up there, use our airspeed. Go ahead and set the power back up. That way we don't bleed off too much speed. Our outside air temperature is down to below freezing, so I really don't want to fly into the clouds if we can avoid it. And it looks like we're going to be up in them as we continue off to the southeast here. We'll just descend back down 5,500, and if we need to do anything to kind of avoid terrain, even though this path looks like it's going to take us should be pretty safe all the way down through, and then we just got to do a little bit of maneuvering to get into Sonia Lake. You can see we're butting up against these mountains though as we continue down this direction on the map. Leveling it now at 7,500, as feels a little bit better up here. A little bit more altitude as well means we can let this thing stretch her legs a little bit more. Get a little bit more speed out of it, hopefully. Looks like wind out of the north at 13 knots. It's going to be a little bit of a tailwind component. Definitely beats a headwind, so alright, we are going to pull our power on back. Going to be in the cruise for a moment, so let's go ahead and jump outside and enjoy some of the views here in beautiful British Columbia. It really does amaze me how many, like, it seems like prominent roads are running through this region. Saw a couple, there's like one down beneath us, and some up in front of us as well. You can kind of see going off into the distance. A couple more here off to the right. I don't know why that's so shocking to me in this area. It seems so so remote, but I guess there is actually a decent amount out here. Just not a huge amount of people, but anyways, we are still just chugging along here. We're about to be under 40 nautical miles from Sonia Lake. You can kind of see it looks a little bit worse as far as the weather is concerned in front of us here. This cloud base looks like it is right around our level. It does look rather heavy as well, so I don't want to get into it too much. We're going to go ahead and go back down to 5,500. We've enjoyed cruising up here. Been almost doing 190 knots for the majority of it, but we're going to start creeping on down. We're just going to do 500 feet a minute and just make sure we stay below these clouds. We'll pull the power back just a little bit, but we're going to let our airspeed, 500 feet a minute is not going to be too crazy. We should hold our airspeed pretty well. Since we're kind of getting close to the halfway point, I'll go ahead and just talk it over. Sonia Lake. It's runway 06 and 24. We're going to plan for 24, so I'm going to go ahead and set that in the heading bug. We'll do 240. Looking on the chart as well, We should have to kind of navigate around a little bit of terrain once we get up into this area. I think we would have been fine. That would have been pushing it at 7,500. Might as well come down, maintain visual on all the terrain and everything we can avoid as needed. Anyways, we're going to plan for 2-4. Like I said, we're going to have to probably work our way around some terrain, but that's just fine. We want to kind of get an idea of what the airfield looks like anyways, since it's the first time flying into here. I will say, if you're a fan of the British Columbia area and you like this kind of flying, you do FSEconomy or whatever. Even if you don't, Anaheim Lake, Charlie Alpha Juliet 4, there's a bunch of really cool airports around this area. Take you into the mountains, a little bit further out of the mountains, whatever. Some built-up airports, some small grass strips, gravel strips, the whole deal. It's kind of right around here. Seems like a really cool area. So definitely been entertaining and enjoyable for me so far, and the little bit of flying we've done in the region. There we are now on just about 31 nautical miles out. See that just the peaks of these mountains are hiding in the clouds. But we've got nice visibility still all the way in front of us. And hopefully it kind of remains this way. I'm planning on doing the return flight as well. But we'll save that for its own video. But yeah, let's take a look here. Let's see if we can see it. So we can kind of see it here. This is the lake that the field is on, and we can see if we went off to the right, we've got this terrain in front of us that's kind of built up. So we're going to have to work around to the left side of it once we get up in between these terrain features. We're going to work around to the left and then cut in on this little bit of a waterway all the way into the field. And hopefully get a good visual on it so we get an idea of, make sure the approach path and everything into 2-4 is clear. We're about to level here at 5,500. Once again with the roadways, I mean, just all the way down. Some more roads going up into the mountains there. I don't know why that's so shocking to me, but still, I'd be amazing to drive through, I'm sure. Let me see off into there. Yeah, I'm glad we're not. I mean, it's nice and clear through the valley, but that cloud cover could drop and really cause some problems for you if we were going off into more towards the south. Fortunately, we're just kind of staying on the fringe of that mountain range there. Alright, so we could see it on the map pretty clear here. This first right has this lake, which we can kind of see around the corner. Over there, that's not what we want. The second one we could work with, though, if we want to. So we might take a little bit of a left turn around this mountain and then hook it back to the right pretty quick to follow it in and close in on the strip. See it a little bit better if we zoom in. So we'll fly off, let's see, this is those two water features right there that we're about to pass a beam, this kind of big pond looking thing we got up here, and then this lake over here with the little side lake. That's what we're going to aim for. So we're going to turn the plane, go ahead and go for it now. Turn the plane and basically fly directly over this pond and aim right towards the lake on the map there. and that should take us up to our next point, which is going to be a little bit of a stream river looking thing, taking us for our the first right just past this big lake coming up, and then we'll take that right in, and the field should be on the other side of that terrain, right next to that large body of water. That's what it looks like on the chart anyways. So we'll see how well that correlates. Go ahead and get our landing lights on, and we can go ahead and talk about it now. That way we're not worrying about it a little bit later. We'll update our altimeter as well. As always in the 208, our approach flaps can come out at 150 knots. We'll go full landing flaps at 125. For our approach speed today, I'm probably going to say 75. It's what I want to stick with at the moment. If the field looks especially challenging or something like that, we can always try and slow it down a little bit more. But we should have plenty of length to work with. Alright, so we can see the big lake here right off our nose. So we're going to overfly that. Kind of fly over the terrain behind it. And there we should have a bit of water to kind of guide us in to the right and keep us clear of some of the terrain here. I really don't think I give British Columbia enough respect for how amazing it is to fly around. I've really been enjoying it. I used to fly around British Columbia a lot, back whenever, oh, that must have been like the X-Plane 8 days or something along those lines. Flying around in Flight Sim 2020 is just really awesome. It's super fun, especially if you're into the slower planes. You can actually kind of take advantage of the majority of the fields, airfields that you have out here. Alright, so we're over that body of water. I can see the little river taking us all the way in. So we're just going to continue on our present heading. And I think if we're planning on 2-4, which the wind currently now is more about 350 at 10. We are up here at 5,500 feet, but still it's pretty close to the ground, so we're going to assume it's going to be about the same. I mean, I guess it's kind of 6 one way, half a dozen another if we did 0.6 or 2.4. Sure, we're not deviating off of 5,500 too much here. We can see that water now in front of us, so I know this is okay to turn here. So we're going to go ahead and come to the right a little bit, get ahead of the turn, cut a little bit of distance off, and expedite this for our paying passengers in the back. Alright, here we go. This is going to take us all the way down this range here. Go ahead and zoom the map in. We're pretty darn close. We're actually flying over another strip right there. We could have flown into this one. Actually looks like it's a really cool airport down beneath us. Really narrow. Looks like asphalt maybe. It's actually kind of surprising. Might be gravel. Could have flown into that one, but there was only about 2 paying passengers going. I think it's Charlie Alpha Juliet 3 or Charlie Alpha Foxtrot 3. Whereas we had 7 paying us to go to Sunny Lake. Sorry, it's Charlie Alpha Golf 3 as the field we just passed over. So we decided to go do what the people want. We'll take the payout. But I definitely think if we can get a decent group together, we'll definitely be checking that field out. It looks a pretty nice little airstrip. Okay, so do want to go ahead and descend a little bit. The elevation for the field here is supposedly around 4,000 feet. And it should just be... I think the GPS is potentially lying to me a little bit. I don't know, it just looks like, I don't know, can't imagine it's like up on that peak. Which is kind of what it looks like. Let's see if we've got a clearing off to our left here at all. Oh yeah, there we go. That's our airstrip right there. Look at that beautiful that is with the lake right behind it. Okay, I think what we're going to go for is we're going to do a right-hand turn basically all the way into final for runway 06. So let's go ahead and pull this power out and let's get our approach flaps in. So we got to get below 150. There we go. Approach flaps in. It'll give us some drag and slow us down so our turning circle's nice and tight. What a pretty area. Jeez. We're below 125 now, so we could go full landing flaps whenever we need to. I've got it for our right turn. Easy for me to talk here. Bring it all the way back across the lake. I mean, just look at these views, are absolutely insane. Alright, so we want to keep our descent going. I said the elevation of that little strip was about 4,000 feet. We're at 4,800 right now. Trying to get a visual on it once again. Back out our windscreen. It's going to be up here off to the right. So we're going to go ahead and go full landing flaps. It's a little tricky to spot, but I can kind of see that clearing right there through the trees. And we know it backs all the way up to the lake. So we're going to continue flying over here, give ourselves a little bit more space to line up. We're right around 80 knots. See the clearing a little bit more, so let's go ahead and start turning in. And there's about 75, a little bit more power. Just nice and draggy with all these flaps out. Got these trees to come in over and then straight down onto the field. So we'll pull this power out a little bit more. Stay zoomed out like that. So we're going to descend right over the top of these trees and drop it in. Looks like it's a bit of a curved runway. It's always pretty neat. You just kind of carve a path right through the trees for it. And power idle. Floated for quite a bit there, but we are down full back pressure. Keep the nose nice and light. We're going to taxi on down to the little cabin over here. Let's go ahead and get our flaps in. I swear, man, everyone's got satellite. However, their satellite dish appears to be pointing directly into that mountain, so maybe something else is going on here. They've even got like a garage door on that thing. They're keeping their ATV inside, I guess. So we'll go ahead and park up right here. And let's get our strobe light off, our nav light off. We'll put our transponder back onto standby. And we could get our landing lights off as well. Super pretty airport. I'm not mad that we followed the money and took this one over CAG3. I definitely do want to check that one out too as well, though. So we'll probably be back in this area before too long. I hope you all did enjoy the flight. As always, if you did, giving the video a like really does help me out a ton. And I appreciate it. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel to see more content as always. Let's go ahead and get this flight logged and get paid. So we'll just hit the parking brake here on the plane. And once that all clears, our flight has been logged on the site. We have been paid, and we're going to be ready to load up and do the return flight, but I'll save that for another video. So until then, bye-bye.